Well, welcome back. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky in Kyiv, with the U.S. delegation announcing new aid, including a $165 million ammunition sale and over $300 million in foreign military financing. The delegation also announcing the gradual return of U.S. diplomats to Ukraine. Blinken spoke to reporters in Poland following the meeting about Moscow's success. Watch.
When it comes to Russia's war aims, Russia is failing, Ukraine is succeeding. Russia has sought as its principal aim to totally subjugate Ukraine, to take away its sovereignty, to take away its independence. That has failed.
Joining me right now is American Foreign Policy Council Distinguished Fellow and former Deputy National Security Advisor under President Trump, Victoria Coates. Victoria, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. How would you assess what's happening on the ground? I know we all are just amazed and impressed with the Ukrainian army and how tough and courageous they have been. But can you actually say that they're winning today?
Good morning, Maria. Great to be with you. Well, I think we actually can, because as of today, we're in month 3 of what was supposed to be Putin's 3-day overtake of Ukraine. So the fact that the Ukrainians following President Zelensky have been able to hang on for so long and push back against the Russians has been, I think, a tremendous success.
That's terrific. And what do you think about the U.S.'s response, the allies' response? It's absolutely heartbreaking to see this death and destruction and this inability or incapacity to do more.
No, it's a disgrace what's been allowed to go on inside of Ukraine in terms of the humanitarian suffering and then the disruption of supply chains, both in terms of energy and commodities, to the rest of the world. And I have to say I was very disappointed in the kind of slow, incremental return of U.S. diplomats to Ukraine announced by Secretary Blinken today. I mean, Boris Johnson said they're reopening their embassy in Kiev next week. That's great. We are doing day trips to Lviv, maybe starting in a month. I mean, it's really weak sauce.
Yeah, it's a great point. Victoria, I know that you recently co-wrote an op-ed in the New York Post titled "The Next Natural Gas Project," shows you just how absurd Biden's energy policy is. You write about the Biden administration's war on domestic energy and a Next Natural Gas Project in Pennsylvania, which would have had millions of gallons of natural gas. Tell us more, and where are we in terms of supplies right now, in your view?
Well, it's completely crazy. This was a project that was begun under President Trump in 2018. It should have been coming online last month, Maria. I mean, imagine if we had a new natural gas processing plant in central Pennsylvania and a new export facility in Gibbstown, New Jersey, to flow this gas to Europe to offset Putin's aggression. It would have been, I mean, just poetic justice, I think. And instead, it was announced a couple of weeks ago that they're just going to let the permits expire because all of the environmental extremists who sued the project into submission. And Biden did nothing to support it, did nothing to help it. This is ridiculous. All he's done is promote additional exports to Europe, which is great. We should be doing that. But he does nothing to surge domestic supply, which means prices are really spiking here. And analysts are predicting a tight market for a decade. So I think we have to get away from this notion that we can't have an environmentally responsible natural gas policy in the United States.
Yeah, and yet he keeps blaming Putin for the elevated price of oil and gas.
Exactly. I mean, this all started well before Putin, and this should be America's great strength.
Yeah. Victoria, it's great to get your insights this morning. Please come back soon. Good to see you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.